Gather in, everybody. Hit that like. Let them know you're here. Share the show out. That really helps. Subscribe if you haven't on whatever site you're on. And if you've already done that, subscribe on the other ones. I don't care. It's just a little overlap. Doesn't hurt. All right. Well, I'll be with you in just 1 second. Oh, and I'm pissed already. In a good way. In a funny, over-the-top comedic pissed kind of way. You'll see. Instagram. What are you doing? What are you doing, Instagram? Throw me a like. Throw me an emoji in there. You watching on Instagram? Hit the emoji. Give me something. 1 minute. Here we go. With it. I can't wait. I was going to wait the extra that I don't need to. I'm happy to see you guys. I'm glad you're here. I cannot wait to start the greatest live stream on the interwebs. Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome. Share the show. Like, subscribe. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks is a great way to support the show, as well as the Venmo over here. And then, of course, super chats and all that kind of stuff. Thank you for everyone who has and does. I'll get ahead of myself and just say thank you to all the people who will for the first time in the coming weeks, because amazing programming. And you're finally going, I don't know why I slept on you so long, Hal Sparks, with your amazing show where you were, you just Hal Sparked more than most people could Hal Sparks in their whole lifetime. And I know, it's true. There's a lot to cover today, not the least of which is how wonderful the chat room is. Hi, chat room, you huge and growing group of people. I am so happy you're here, including the trolls and the bots. Not the bots so much. I mean, I just don't want to hurt their feelings, because if there is a robot uprising at some point, I don't want them to have some sort of memory of me being a dick to them at some point. I want them to go, you were nice to me. But hello to all the trolls who are like, I came here to upset people, and I can't. I'm not sure why. Arg. It is very difficult for me. Yeah, it's up. Okay. Also, let's get started with a clip, if I could, that got me in a little bit of hot water last time. The last time we covered this duet of folks. Last time I did this because one of the people, certainly not both, one of the people that was in the clip, I used to have relative interactions with on Twitter. Jovial, not mean-spirited, kind of almost normal. And then this person started showing up on Glenn Beck's show on the regular, and our dear friend, our dear friend CSL, who I allow to do the thumbnails, correctly described both this person and Glenn Beck as, I think the word might have been morons, maggot morons, something like that. And, no problem there. But this person took great offense at being called this because they never viewed themselves as a supporter of Donald Trump. They only vote for them and support every economic theory, policy, blather, whatever comes out of his fucking neck at any given time, right? Matt, yes, you are in a Hal cult. Welcome. Congratulations. Also, 73K. All right, we're going to hit 74, and then we're going to hit 100,000. I'm going to get one of those goddamn plaques. Subscribe right now. Hit it. And if you're in here and you're like, I'm already subscribed, but I kind of lurk, just throw me a hi in the chat. Just a hello. Just what's up? Not a big thing. I don't need full interaction from you guys, but just a little something, because what that blows us up in the algorithm. That's why we like the trolls here, because they, more than anybody, spread us out through their interaction. They say to the gods of the internet, not only is this guy charming, funny, smart, and on point, quite frankly, but he's engaging. So therefore I shall engage. Crack, tackety, tackety, tack. That's what they do. So these, all right, I'm used to making fun of Glenn Beck, but Carol Roth, like I said, we used to have kind of a semi-jovial, call it bipartisanship, that there was a bipartisan kind of conversation. And then at some point she took great offense at a thumbnail, and that was that. And was it a learning experience for either of us? No. No, because I made my point that I believe that if you support the policies of Donald Trump, you vote for Donald Trump, you agree with everything he says, even when you know it doesn't make sense, then you are, for all practical purposes, a supporter of Donald Trump. Right? I think we all learned this from Alan Dershowitz, who, thank God, he finally stopped bullshitting us all that he was a Democrat, which he's been doing for years, and just came out as a scumbag, and everybody was like, goodbye. Right, but he wanted everybody to believe that it's not that I'm a supporter of Donald Trump. I'm a Democrat, but I believe just on principle. Right, bullshit. And he was always on that fucker side. They were both friends with Jeffrey Epstein. He fucking got massages at Epstein's house. God knows where he flew with him and blah blah blah. Right, just gross. Wrote a fucking op-ed about how we need to lower the age of consent. Like, piss off. Stop it. You don't get to register as a Democrat, vote Republican every time, and then you use the fucking label. That's not how it works. Except I guess it does in maggot world, because you don't actually have to believe what Donald Trump believes at all. You can just suck up to him, and as long as you're wearing the fucking hat, he doesn't care what's going on inside the head, inside the hat. He doesn't care whether you're flim-flamming him or not. You're a walking billboard for him. That's all that matters. Now, the Fed lowered the interest rate half a basis point, or 5 basis points, half a point, and is more than likely going to lower it a quarter point, maybe by Christmas, perhaps another one right after the beginning of the year, probably a full point between now and the spring at least, right? Because they're trying to bring in this soft landing, doing a fine job actually in that respect. Now, in terms of the shit that's actually within their power, because there's a lot of stuff outside. That said, that news was not good news to everybody, especially the folks that are hoping that the Fed would wait until after the election to do it, so that they could use it politically and say, see, that they were waiting till Donald Trump won, so that they could lower the interest rate, some shit like that. And instead, the Fed just did their job at this pace that they thought they should do it at. I thought they should have been doing it faster. The right wing thinks they should have been doing it slower. Apparently, they chose the Goldilocks porridge path, right? Not too hot, not too cold, just right. That's what they're shooting for. All right, and fine, whatever. That said, this is explained. Thank God they're going to explain it to us, and I need an explanation. Why the Fed lowering interest rates might be a bad sign. ... Please, Carol Roth, Glenn Beck, probably Stu, distracted on social media, and whoever else, please chime in and explain to us how the Fed doing something that everybody was expecting them to do for a fucking year, finally getting around to it, is terrible.
Welcome to the program, Carol Roth. I'm hoping you can make sense and maybe some good news out of what happened yesterday, because...
Bullshit. No. Glenn is not hoping that she will come up with some good news. Glenn is hoping for bad news. Glenn is hoping for the exact same fucking freak out that Maria Bartiromo had. And CSL, I don't know if we have that in the thing. I didn't have to go back very far in our list of possible clips today to find some fucking gold. So if that's in there, can we repost it? Maria Bartiromo reacting to this 0.5 because glorious.
Because I can't find a way to it. Because of the history of cutting the interest rate this much. My first thought was, this is election interference by the Fed.
Because you hope it is.
Then my second thought was, when did they last do this? And it didn't lead, neither of those lead to good things. So what's really going on here, Carol?
Yeah, tell them, Carol. Tell them that they raised the interest rate by like 2-3 points in a very short order. And so instead of being upset that they rose it that fast following the pandemic to try and stabilize the economy, and that they maybe have waited too long to start easing it back in, let's just assume they're in the tank for Harris because fucking nobody knows.
Well, first of all, Glenn, I just want you to know that I am unburdened by what has been, and now the market is in terms of interest rates, because we are in a rate cutting environment. And I think the important thing to remember is that when we talk about
Okay, so Carol's coming right out of the gate with a douchey anti-Harris gag, and followed immediately by a placating statement devoid of meaning.
Rate heights, rate cuts, anything the Fed's doing, we have to keep it in context. And the backdrop is that we came out of 15 years of what's called ZIRP, zero interest rate policy.
Right. Where
the interest rates were at or near zero, unprecedented, as well as the Fed putting $9 trillion plus on its balance sheet. So this is an unprecedented, does not have an analog that we can directly compare.
Right, because there was a whole pandemic thing that caused, they didn't just, by the way, I think Carol would be the first to admit that they didn't just add $9 trillion to their balance sheet for the fuck of it out of nowhere, right? There was obviously something massive that preceded such a thing. And what preceded such a thing? A $20 trillion hole in the U.S. economy. And again, anybody who thinks you can plug a $20 trillion hole with $9 trillion probably thinks Stormy Daniels had the night of her life.
Not to say that it's not important to go back and look at what's happened historically, but it doesn't mean exactly the same thing. And cutting 50 basis points or 0.5% today is different than when we're cutting it when interest rates are at 2%. So I just want to...
Yeah. It would be that. And also all these other, Glenn, you're a fucking moron because you tried to present this concept to her based on your understanding of things without factoring in the global pandemic we all just went through. You guys know, that's one of my things. Fucking when the Bloomberg economists finally caught up after 2 fucking years to what I'd been saying and went, maybe, I don't know, this whole pandemic thing might have had a bigger impact than we thought. They're trying to make me go insane,
To put that out. I also am somebody who, as you know, have said on this program many times that I think the Fed's been way behind the curve. I think that...
Right. They should have done it sooner. See, look, Carol, we agree again. Look at you being sort of sensible here. In spite of what your boss is insisting on, I guess.
They went up too high and that they were too slow to cut to begin.
I'm fine. I'm okay.
begin with.
Okay.
So we'll put that from a backdrop standpoint.
Backdrop standpoint, I'm okay. I'm all right. These people. Woo!
So how does the market interpret, and how should individuals interpret a cut? Well, there's the
Well, here's how should they? Matter of opinion. Carol, how did they interpret it? The S&P went to its highest ever. The Dow broke another record, and I'm guessing the Nasdaq's not far behind. Sorry, it was the Nasdaq that hit the ultimate record, and the S&P's not far behind. That's how they actually reacted. Tell us how they should have reacted.
the potentially the bad and potentially the good. So we'll walk through both of those real quickly.
Eden Pure.
Oh, fuck you and your stupid ads, Glenn, you prick. Yeah, don't try to. By the way, I'm just going to say, don't buy brain supplements from Joe Rogan, and for the same reason you don't buy health supplements from this motherfucker. Okay? He's always sick. And most of the time he's so red and puffy, I think he's got a shellfish allergy. Eden Pure. Shut the fuck up. What in the world? Okay. By the way, it does not look like Glenn is taking this well, whatever she's saying.
Bad is the signal. When you are saying that the economy is doing amazing and it's just, it's ripping along, and then to do a very large cut, they could have done half of that. They could have done 25 basis points, but to come out after not doing anything and say,
You just said they waited too long to do it in the first place, that they basically should have done a quarter basis point earlier this year, followed by a second quarter basis point now, which would have been the two. That just means that they're finally catching up to agreeing with the... I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm going to be fine. It's all right. Excuse me 1 second, would you? I'm all right. You were saying...
we got to move 50 points, can send a signal to say things...
By the way, they didn't move 50 points. That, I think, would be too much. 50 basis points, very different. But definitely not 50 points. I think we'd all agree, even a layman would say, don't go from 5% to negative 55%. Probably would be bad.
Things are not going so well.
Right.
If you looked at the market...
Correct.
Yesterday, they were not taking the news so great, but
it went up, and then when he cut it, it went way down.
And then they gave up back all the gains yesterday. Right. But today, they've had a day to digest it, and the market thinks that this is a good thing. Now, the market...
And Glenn sold right before it came out because they thought they were going to do this, and then he bought a bunch of stuff after it went down. No, sorry, the opposite. He bought a bunch of stuff because he thought it was going to crash, or it was going to go... Yeah. He sold a bunch of stuff because he thought it was going to crash, and then he bought others. I don't know what the fuck. He bought high and sold low is my point. I don't even know where you would jump into this little jag, but wherever the worst part was, he bought here, or he sold here. It did a big put on shit, and then he bought a bunch of stuff here, and then when expecting it to go down further, he put a put on stuff here, and then it collapsed and he owes money on it. That's why his face is like that.
It's not the economy, so
Yes.
But again, after 15 years of zero interest rate policy, it does make sense.
And no pandemics, by the way. I'm just going to point that 15 years of low interest rates and also 100 years of no giant worldwide pandemics in general. No offense, AIDS and possibly Ebola and the White Plague of tuberculosis in the 30s and 40s. But in terms of Spanish flu to COVID, pretty much those are the markers we're going to use for the big shit the bed pandemics. Yes? Sort of? Yeah? All right. I'm fine. Cleansing. Jesus Christ, these assholes.
for us to get back to what's considered a neutral rate.
Is this a inflationary move though?
So that's the question. So if you think
if it's an inflationary move and she just said they waited too long to do it, are you accusing Carol Roth of inflationary economic policy? She's a guest. That's being, how rude are you, Glenn Beck? Not rude. What's the word I'm looking for? Stupid. That's the word I'm looking for. Fuck me.
think about what the neutral rate is, which is theoretical. We don't know the number, but
whatever it is now, unless Trump is in office, it's bad.
basically, it's the dividing line between policy that is restrictive and policy that is accommodative.
Right.
And what we're
Yes, the Goldilocks policy that no one knows for sure, because just right is in the tongue of the beholder. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I'm sticking with that one.
trying to do is have the Fed have no influence in either direction. I believe that we are still in that restrictive area. So bringing it down from, to 4 3/4 to 5%, again, is not the same as bringing it down to 2%. And so I don't think that will cause inflation. We have to remember too, again, going back to where I started, companies and individuals had 15 years to take out debt at basically no cost. This is sitting.
Yes, this is why Donald Trump is panicking. That and, being an adjudicated rapist and 34 fraud counts and real jail time showing up. But, look, I'm not an economist. I'm not. As a matter of fact, I am, as a comedian and an artist, almost the opposite of an economist on a personal level, especially. Not my thing. However, taking that into account, I have been right this entire fucking time. Please continue.
On companies' balance sheets, they took every piece that they could. And consumers right now don't have a lot of runway.
By the way, Glenn does not know what the fuck she's talking about, and he's trying to find a way to make it bad, and he's not being successful, and so this is just depression.
So the idea of a rate cut unleashing massive demand when we've gone to 4 3/4 to 5%, I don't see this as something that's going to unleash massive demand.
So I can't. So it won't be giant inflationary thing, so I can't lie about that. Is there another way you can make this sound terrible? Because everything so far sounds like it should have happened sooner is the only problem you have. And I can't have someone coming on my show with luxurious long brown hair and talking like Hal Sparks, who also has luxurious long brown hair. God damn it. All right. I'm fine.
So I just love your opinion on this. As a
You're not going to like it.
businessman, I know I wouldn't be spending a dime right now on hiring, building, anything. Not
Okay. Because AI.
a dime until I see what happens at the election. And depending on the election, if we go with...
What if you need the stuff right now, stupid? What if you're experiencing actual growth and you're going to have to take on and by the way, you know what's best for Glenn Beck? If Kamala Harris wins. For his business model, for the Blaze, best thing that could ever happen to them. If Trump wins, they're one of many that just have to line up to suck Trump's nuts every couple of weeks and on schedule, and then attack some like liberals on fucking Twitter or some shit.
Harris, and we become much more restrictive and harder and more global and everything else. Then I'm just battening down.
Hey, stupid! What do you mean more restrictive? Oh, good Lord, Vincent! Thank you so much. I just gotta say, if this motherfucker says "but" one more time, Vincent, you asked for it. and you're going to live to regret it, my friend. Here it comes. Just they're going to say restrictive again. And then tell me what it means. Glenn, hey, tell me what the fuck restrictive economic policy means, stupid. Tell me what it means. Tell me what it means in terms of the Fed raising and lowering interest rates. And explain it to Carol while we all watch her cry.
Down the hatches. If Trump gets in, I'd be willing to invest because, all right, good. We've got somebody who understands business. We can hire some more people, et cetera, et cetera.
Wait a minute. I thought you just said Trump would be the person that got in. Somebody that understands business? You mean like what? Casinos and crypto, you dumb motherfucker? Say, understands. You're trying to get me. Understands business. Understand. Have you read Art of the Deal? Well, guess what, Glenn? Neither has Trump.
Etc. I don't see anybody making those moves rationally, no matter what the interest rate is at this point. Do you?
Hey, stupid. First of all, there's going to be an oil glut next year, and everybody fucking knows it except you. And maybe you know it, and you just don't want to talk about it because you bought fucking stock in some shit, and you're just afraid people will find out what a dumbass you are. Secondly, if the rate's going down now, it's going to keep going fucking down now. They're not going to keep it at 5% or 4% forever. They know it's going to continue to go down. They're ready to bring it back down. That means it's going to be more liquid next year. Of course, you're not going to start borrowing money right now. You're going to wait 6 months for it to drop 1.5 points. You dipshit. Fuck me. What's growth at the Blaze besides you and fucking Stu doing laps at the Sonic drive-thru?
I think that's a logical way to digest it. I think that in terms of one of your first statements is this political? The Biden-Harris administration are going to be pushing out and saying, look, we've got inflation under control. The Fed said so. Otherwise, they wouldn't have lowered it by so much.
So does someone saying it's political and taking credit for it being political, or a political operative taking credit for it, does that inherently make it political? Does it do that? Does it? No.
So I think that is the push that they're going out and trying to convince people. Now, they've been trying to convince people of things that make absolutely no sense for the last 3.5 years.
That's right. Yeah, it makes no sense the stock market has gone up to 42,000. It makes no sense that Truth Social stock is in the shitter. It makes no sense that unemployment is at an all-time low and has maintained a stretch at 4% or below for the longest stretch in 60 fucking years. It makes no sense because I thought these people were communists. And Donald Trump told me that the second Biden gets in, you're going to see a 1929 crash like nobody's ever seen before. Right away. Tick-tock, motherfucker. The election's coming, and this asshole's going to be out of office. What the shit?
So, if I'm a business person, do I go?
You're not?
Go ahead and make the investments? Probably not, but are there some people who might? It's a push. But I do think, the challenge is it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that if you...
Oh, God. Here it comes.
You get worried that there is a recession and you create these restrictive behaviors that becomes self-fulfilling.
Correct.
And that's when...
Wait. So you're blaming Glenn now? Wait, so if Glenn Beck continues to tell people we're in a recession, headed for a recession, there's going to be a recession, but we're already in one. If you think about it, we've already been in one for a long time. It's been nothing but a recession. It's a terrible, terrible recession. And if Harris gets in, it's going to be even a worse, a double down recession. And telling people that might actually trigger one. So basically what you're saying to Glenn Beck is shut the fuck up.
One of the things that we end up worrying about.
All right, so let me just ask you one more thing.
Don't do it. I thought the first two questions were going to be fucking stupid. And now he thinks he's got an even better one. Oh, God.
He mentioned the problem with unemployment. Unemployment's going on because you just added 7 to 20 million people to, the country.
What? How does that, what? Sorry. When did they just add 7 to 20 million people in the last 6 months? Is that what happened, Glenn? It's been riding along all this time. It starts to eke up a touch, like a quarter point, and suddenly, when the fuck did these motherfuckers show up, asshole? When? 7 to 20 million people? They showed up in the last 3 months? You dick.
It is,
Even Carol Roth had to exhale her pain.
People are saying anecdotally that...
Anecdotally? Excuse me real quick. I'm not familiar with that word. Say anecdotally again.
People are saying anecdotally.
Anecdotively. Anecdotively. He's trying to make me nuts. That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. Just wind me the fuck up. Anecdotively. Anecdote. What the fuck?
It is, people are saying anecdotally that...
I don't care. I don't care what they're saying anecdotally. I don't care what they're saying anecdotally. You can't talk about why the Fed, that runs the largest and most powerful currency in the fucking world, has made a decision, but anodynum, have said anatomically, say that this is coming out of my ass.
And we are, I guess, seeing it in numbers that the jobs that are being filled with illegals and not...
Jobs filled by people who are undocumented do not show up on employment records. They are paid under the table, and no one is tracking the unemployment level of people that are not even here in the first place. What the fuck are you talking about?
American citizens. How long can that go on before it's...
But yes, how long can this thought go on in your fucking cranium before it becomes magically true?
It's just, an absolute wreck.
Oh, God. Glenn. I could call you Glenn, can I? Perhaps you should think about hiring some people at the Blaze. Perhaps someone who can ring a bell every time you're being an asshole to train the behavior out of you in a Pavlovian kind of a way. Perhaps some research assistants. Maybe that. Maybe some paid interns who actually like to fucking read.
So the way that I've interpreted the economy is I see it as K-shaped. If you think about the...
Oh, dear.
Letter K, you have, that one part of the K that goes up and the other part that goes down.
Yeah, so, believe me, Glenn is familiar with Ks. They often come in threes when he envisions them. Please continue.
And you have the people who are at the lower end of the K who have been struggling, and the people who are at that higher part of the K, the asset holders, the people with the white collar jobs and the homes who have been doing well. And you have to remember that what we've been...
What's the back part of the K? Who's skyrocketing? Is that the billionaires? So this is the millionaires are the up part. Hold on, how do I fucking do this? This way. I walk like an Egyptian. All right, so you got a K, right? There's the K, this part, and then this part. So the poor people are going down, 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 even though they're not. They've added $3 trillion worth of wealth in the last 4 fucking years. Right? There you go. And I'm giving credit to the Democrats who gave the bill that helped people during the pandemic. They add a little bit to their. It's sort of a flat K. It's a very poorly drawn K, but we'll work on that. So this part of the K is the poor people. The well-to-do people are doing kind of a Laura Ingraham, let's just say. You think you're going to catch me doing that whole gesture, you can go fuck yourself. So that's poor people and well-to-do people. And then who's this over here? Elon Musk? Just billionaires just fucking skyrocketing? Is that how this K-shaped fucking recovery goes? I gotta say, it sounds like your K-shaped recovery is in cursive, you weirdo.
Been seeing is it really is that higher part of the K that has been pulling the economy along. So not only do we have those illegal.
No, it hasn't. Or we wouldn't have 4% unemployment. We'd have there's no point where those people's baseline goes up if they don't have to hire more people, which makes this part go up. Good Lord.
Illegals who are coming in and creating drains on everything, right?
They're drains on everything. Yeah. Like, are you sure, Carol, you wouldn't consider changing your name to maybe Karen Roth?
Creating drains on employment, on the national.
There's not a drain on unemployment. There's a million unfilled jobs. There's not a drain on employment.
National debt, on housing, on everything. But we're also starting to see these cracks in the white-collar labor market.
Uh-huh. You mean the assholes who put all their money in crypto and then got wiped out, and that took out some of those stupid regional banks?
You hear Amazon saying, oh, we want everybody back in the office. It means that companies now have the power to demand that when they didn't have the power. And buried in that statement.
Sorry, that's your big sign that the economy is crashing because employers can ask their employees to come back to work 5 days a week instead of 4. That's the big crash. That's the cratering economy. That's your idea. That's what you're going with. You're going with the fact that Amazon can demand, they have access to workers enough where they can demand people work in the office 5 days a week.
It was, oh, we're trying to get rid of some managers. We've seen more and more layoffs on the tech side. So if we see that crack from the...
Because of AI. Maybe she means, maybe AI to her means artificial immigrants. See what I did there?
White collar piece, I think, at least in the short term, that's going to have the biggest impact on shifting what's going to happen here. And I think that's what the Fed is signaling they're trying to get.
Okay, excuse me, Carol. While I disagree with what you're saying on a moral, ethical, and intellectual level, that doesn't really matter right now because Glenn didn't hear a word you were saying, and it started focusing on how his left knee sort of hurts right now and his lower back is hurting and he's not quite sure why, and maybe there's a salve he can buy, but he doesn't have time to drop by the store, so he's going to send one of the people at the Blaze that he didn't want to hire in the first fucking place to go pick it up afterwards. Basically what was going on in his head was, you know that monkey with the symbols that goes eep, eep, eep? That's what he heard.
Ahead of whether or not they can do that remains to be seen because usually they're always late. But it's true. We have a drag on both sides. We have that drag that's happening on the white collar piece. And then we have this massive illegal immigration that's putting strains on the system. And
the system,
that is going to, completely shift things. And I will say
that is going to, completely shift things. Is it?
Glenn, we hear all of these people talking about, technology and AI and how it's going.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, these people, you hear about all of these people talking about technology and AI and stuff and blah, blah, blah. Look at Glenn. Eyes fucking rolling back in his head. Thanks, Carol, for another topic. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm completely lost. Please stick to one thing I don't understand at all at a time.
going to replace jobs. If you think that it's going to replace jobs, the jobs that they're going to replace are unskilled workers, right? The person who's making your burrito at Chipotle.
Why would AI replace somebody making a fucking burrito, you dumbass? AI can't make a burrito. AI can do accounting. AI can do paralegal work. AI can do a lot of white collar and sort of white collar work, programming, all kinds of stuff, marketing, shit like that. Can't make a fucking burrito. Say burrito again, you dumb motherfucker. Fuck me. God, they're just trying to make me nuts today. That's what's happening. I'm okay.
Chipotle and the like, you could possibly make an argument that we do not need any more legal immigration in this country, with the exception of some very high merit-based people at all.
Hey, asshole, if we have AI, why do we need high merit-based people? What do you mean? Mathematicians? Programmers? Jesus Christ. Those are the two things you can use AI and machine learning for the easiest. We need fucking people to make burritos, dummy. And by the way, congratulations on picking the worst food analogy you possibly could pick. Because Jesus Christ, woman, if you wanted somebody to picture what job could somebody crossing the Mexico-American border could do, making a burrito is fairly high up there, I think, for most people. They'd go, actually, I don't know. They probably could make a pretty good, damn good burrito. I mean, I think last time I was down in El Paso, I had probably the greatest burrito I ever had, followed by the biggest stint in a bathroom I've ever had. But that's not important. In addition to... What are you mm-hmming about, you dumb motherfucker? Say mm-hmm again. Pretend to listen again. You look at him staring off into the fucking middle distance like a character in Apocalypse Now who's about to say something vaguely violent and poetic.
To this, travesty that's happening with the illegal immigration. So this is going to be, hopefully we can get President Trump in there, but this needs to be attacked in a serious fashion because it's going to have massive implications for the economy on top of the biggest issue, and it feeds right into it, which is the debt and the deficit spending that continues to grow that debt, the fact that that's unwieldy. So all of these...
Real quick, ma'am, if I may, Carol, is it? When you have debt and you need to pay off that debt, is a high interest rate better or a low interest rate better? In a situation where you might have perceptively too much debt and you want to pay off some of that debt, what's better? A higher interest rate or indeed a lower interest rate? Dang, 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 dang. Dang, 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 dang.
Things are puzzle pieces, but we can't let the noise about a Fed rate cut or what's happening distract us from that big issue.
Right. So in case you're just catching up, what she basically said was, this is good news, but we can't let the good news obscure the bad news that we're trying to sell. That, by the way, Trump is largely responsible for in terms of the national debt. Almost a third of it, just him.
We need to grow the economy and we need to reduce spending so we can get debt to GDP back to a normal.
So you're for the Chips and Science Act, is what you're saying.
Level and be able to save our country.
All right. Talk about word salad. Ladies and gentlemen, we needed a sneeze guard while she walked along that salad bar and slapped that whole thing together. Look at her face. She knows she just spent a lot of time saying nothing. Now it's time for Glenn to try to digest some of this when he's got diverticulitis of the brain.
Carol, thank you. Appreciate it. Carol Roth, the author of You Will Own Nothing.
Just broom her the fuck out. That was the answer. So instead of Glenn going, I hear you, I understand you, but what about this pithy little point? Perhaps, maybe, in some situations, there might be a thing that we could do that would... No, fuck that. I didn't hear any of that, and even if I did, I wouldn't understand it, so goodbye.
Former investment banker and contributor
to her local IKEA, actually. That's IKEA. I think those are... Is that the Besta? I'm fairly certain it is.
Blaze, and also to this program. I just love her. She
So you are hiring. Gotcha.
Explains things the way, people like me talk, or just regular people.
You mean in word salad, gibberish, with untethered from any sense of reality? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right. She does. You're absolutely right, Glenn. Congratulations. She talks about the economy exactly the same way you do, from a position of ignorance, ego, and just a little blather sauce thrown on. Just words to fill the time.
Carol, thank you so much. It's carolroth.com/news, carolroth.com/news.
Don't you think they could find their way to the news on her site with a simple click? Why are you just sending them to one page, not the entire... Fuck you, Glenn. She's got a whole website, and you're trying to slice off a little piece for yourself, you dick. And sane. Good Lord. So I gotta, you can understand... Oh, wait, hold on. Is this the Fox Business clip of them getting the news on the basis points, perhaps? Kenneth Rogoff, let's see, hold on. Good Lord, wake up. Hold on, I'm going to try to... waiting for... Let's go, 1 second. There's an ad. Okay. Market rate. Okay, so let's show this real quick. So this is on Fox News, I guess. Fox Business. There's the 42,406, the futures, up by almost 500 points while they're talking about, this is Mornings with Maria. This is how it's been. All during, and this is March of 2022, up, 0.75 basis points. July and September and November, up, bam, bam, bam. Just fucking jacking the cost of money through the fucking roof. Up 5 basis points in December, and then 25, nothing in June, and then another 25 in July of 23, and then nothing since, month by month. And then in September, they come down half a point after all this shit. Look at the climb. May to December of 2022, they did nothing but 5 basis points or 3/4 of a point the entire time, month after fucking month. May, June, July, and then September, November, December. This is when they do it on a quarterly basis. Just jack the fuck out of it. And now we're supposed to believe that this is them going, oh dear, quick, throw the economy in reverse, pull the emergency brake.
We've been reporting the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates for the first time since 2020 yesterday by 50 basis points, while also forecasting another half-point cut before the end of the year. Chairman Jay Powell says...
Look at that, a full point. Gee, considering they went up, 2, 3 points, 4 points? 4 points in one fucking, one stretch, 4 1/4?
He does not see any signs of a recession risk right now. Watch this.
The labor market is not a source of elevated inflationary pressures. The labor market is actually in solid condition.
Boy, is that... No wonder they're mad.
And our intention with our policy move today is to keep it there. You can say that about the whole economy. The U.S. economy is in good shape. It's growing at a solid pace. Inflation is coming down.
Yeah. And this is Maria Bartiromo, the deer in the headlights look. This is a look that I and Aaron Rupar, he was mentioning earlier today, that's just a joy to watch. I got to tell you, folks, there's very, very few things I enjoy in this job more than the misery experienced by Maria Bartiromo when good news happens to the American people and the American economy. Watching her flail and bitch about good shit that normally, by the way, if Trump was in office, she would be banging fucking pots and pans together, making a huge noise about how this is wonderful beyond measure. But because it's not happening, under a Republican, and it seldom does, by the way, all we get from her is like, how is it terrible? How is it terrible?
Joining me now is former IMF chief economist and Harvard University economics professor, Kenneth Rogoff. Ken, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for being here. Could you please help me turn this bar of gold into a turd?
Give us your reaction to the Fed cut. 50 basis points.
Yeah, I was a little surprised it coalesced so fast around that. The problem is, then you don't know what's next.
They already said what's next. They're talking about December and another half point. You do know what's next, stupid.
So they like to have certainty. So I think what they'd wanted to do is 25, 25, 25, 25.
Right, but they didn't do 25 earlier, and they recognized that they were slow on reacting, so they're doing the half point to catch up with the fact that they should have done this earlier. And
you know what's coming. There isn't this uncertainty. But clearly they got concerned that that soft landing that they really, really want may be at risk. So that's how I would read.
Sorry. Let me explain to you, folks, how terrible things are going. That on Fox Business, on Maria Bartiromo's show, she brings this motherfucker on, and his biggest criticism is that the soft landing may be at risk. Say maybe again, motherfucker. Say maybe again.
That I agree with what the chair said about the.
Oh, they're all trying to trigger me. That's what it is. That's what's happening. They're all trying to trigger me today. That's it. Welcome to the Trigger Hal episode of the economic edition of Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of the world. Share, like, etc. Fuck.
The U.S. economy being in solid condition, softening a little, but then why 50 basis points and not 25? And I think the answer is that he'd rather, leave office having inflation 2.5% than having had a recession.
Yeah, but we just had.
Why? Gee, why? Who would want that? What? Listen to that again. Wait, back the fuck up. Listen to this asshole. What would Jerome Powell rather? Hold on, sorry, it's quiet. Here, I'll raise it up a little bit. This is what Jerome Powell would rather.
25, and I think the answer is that he'd rather, leave office having inflation 2.5% than having had a recession.
Yeah, but.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? What? What the fuck?
We just had this whole debate on the panel. I mean, you can't have it both ways, right? If everything's solid and everything's going so well, then why did you cut rates 50 basis?
Because they were too high. And there's room for liquidity. That's why. That's exactly why, you fucking moron. Because the rate was too high post-pandemic. That's why.
Point. It's an aggressive move. How would you assess the macro story right now, Ken?
Sorry, and 2022 wasn't a bunch of aggressive moves, you asshat?
No, I agree with what he said. So, it's a balance of risks. It's uncertainty. You don't know what's going next. The problem with the 50 basis point cut is you don't know what the Fed is going to do next. I mean, I bet, we get to the next meeting and everybody's going to say, it's got to be 50 again. And then they're going to do 50 again.
Right.
And they don't want that chaos. So, but yeah.
Hold on. Why is it not? How is it not chaos if they rose it almost, 4 points in just a few months? In like 8 months, they rose They raised it like 3.25 points. Why wasn't that fucking chaos? Why? I'll tell you why it isn't chaos. I'll tell you exactly why this motherfucker thinks that wasn't chaos. It's because it damaged the economic picture of what was happening under Biden. That by raising the interest rate that high, that much, that fast, it created chaos. It absolutely did. It jacked up inflation. There was all kinds of stuff that went with it. We were experiencing supply shock. These fucking Volckerites at the Fed thought that this was a monetary issue, right? And it wasn't. It was fucking supply shock caused by COVID and the manipulation of supply chains to bring them closer to home, which will always be more expensive. That's what it was. But the reason it wasn't chaos when they were jacking the rates, like, why are they doing this to Biden? None of them fucking said that. None of them. But now, after all these months, when this asshole is arguing they should have dropped it 1/4 point 3 months ago or a year ago, and then another, and then another, and then another, which would means we would be down 1.25 points, that the fact that they waited this long while and dropped it 0.5 point, and it had no negative effect economically and no negative effect on the Dow, clearly.
I would only say that they, got more worried about having a recession and talked themselves into this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real balance, because if we see another 50 basis point cut and then inflation spikes again, then we're back where we started. Mark Tepper.
No, we're not back where we started, because where we started was nearly 6%, stupid.
Jump in here.
And when you go back through history, 85% of the time there is...
Fuck you. Hey, asshole. 85% of the time, there isn't a worldwide pandemic right before it happens. 85% of the fucking... Shut up.
a second wave of inflation whenever...
That's how you know you suck. Ladies and gentlemen, when the camera guy at Fox just goes, fuck this dude, and then literally, look at this. Watch, hold on, back the fuck up. Watch what they do. It's like the guy just goes with the camera.
Spikes again, then we're back where we started. Mark Tepper, jump in here.
And when you go back through history, 85% of the time there is
fuck
a second wave of inflation whenever...
Whoever you are, cameraman at Fox Business, we salute you. We feel you. We know. We saw the good work that you did today. And we know that you could only take so much. One more time. I got to see that again. Hold on.
And then inflation spikes again, then we're back where we started. Mark Tepper, jump in here.
And when you go back through history, 85% of the time there is a second wave of inflation when...
Oh, God. I feel like, you know what? I need to watch The Secret again. I think I made that happen with my mind. Oh, that's gorgeous. And now I got to see how they fix it. Now I got to see how they bring it back. God damn it. Oh, shit. This is good.
Whenever that first wave exceeds 6%.
They just left him off. They fuck it. I don't want to bring it back in. Cut. Go back to him. Then we'll move it. Shit. Camera 2, what are you doing? Stop screaming sell into your phone.
So that's certainly problematic. But Ken, I want to pivot from monetary policy to fiscal policy very briefly. Briefly. We are now at $35 trillion of debt.
A third of which is Donald Trump's responsibility. Please continue.
Our deficit spending $1 trillion every 100 days. At what point do the chickens come home to roost?
Hold on. We're not spending a new $1 trillion every 100 days. Simmer.
Well, I think we're seeing it in elevated pressures on interest rates, but it makes...
What? Elevated pressures on... Motherfucker.
us more vulnerable. There's no question about it. I think...
Why? when China had 230% debt to GDP ratio, these guys were like, shit, they're on their way to becoming the biggest economy in the world.
There was this notion on both sides that that was a free lunch. You just, if you're the Republicans, you cut taxes. If you're the Democrats, you raise spending. You don't worry about it. And when interest rates
And then Donald Trump came along and did both at the same time.
were super low, who could argue?
Yes, who can argue with the terrible impact of this situation? The deficit spending has created a way to drag on the economy that is so terrible that there really is no going back.
I mean, I could, because I didn't think they'd stay super low. Now they're not. And this isn't sustainable. But nobody's talking about fixing it.
Well, Ken, Scott Martin, and thanks for joining us. You know, it's funny about rates. You said they're not low anymore. Well, the Fed's trying their best to keep them low again so that we can do all this borrowing through the federal government.
Or pay off the debt at a lower rate.
Ken, I'm confused, though. When did the Fed change? Because Jay Powell and Cruz seem to be very pragmatic. They seem to be very
You mean when they raised the interest rate 3.25 basis points in about 9 months? You mean then? Oh, right, because Biden was president and it was Trump's debt and fuck them. Sure.
Formulated and how they looked at things. You mentioned about how now we jumped to this 50 basis point cut all of a sudden out of nowhere about a week and a half ago. Why is the
Wasn't out of nowhere. Everybody was like, what's the fucking holdup for a goddamn year?
Fed gotten so kind of, let's say, punchy or hysterical out there about where the economy is, where rates are, versus how they were just some years ago about transitory inflation and being pragmatic and drawn out?
I don't know, maybe a fucking pandemic, you absolute asshole. Why? Wait, what? What the fuck is going on? Am I losing my mind here? Am I snapping? I think I am. I think I'm losing my mind. I think I'm going completely batty. I do. I'm losing. I've all touch with reality. I can't do it anymore. I've just lost my mind. I can't do it. These assholes want to pretend there wasn't a pandemic and then say that it was a global mind control device that didn't exist. I don't know. Hello. I'm Hal Sparks and I've lost my mind.
Well, first of all, if they cut the short rate too much, too fast, the long rates go up because expect that inflation goes up, as Mark said. But I think
Maria.
I think what has to have happened is they just talk themselves into the risks are higher than they're saying, that they think there might be a recession or, maybe growth.
The jobs number was off by 800,000. It still was manageable and strong growth, but it was higher than it was listed as. Had they gotten the actual number, minus those minus those 818,000 jobs, they would have lowered the basis points last year. They would have brought it down by 1/4 point in January and then another one in the spring. But the numbers from the BLS were continually inflated, and that's what they were going off of. When they adjusted that number, they went, holy shit, we should have started this process in fucking January, and they're playing catch up. That's what happened. Everybody knows it, including everybody on this fucking panel, except the dipshit that they pulled the camera away from, who's just there because Maria wants somebody cute to stare at.
Going to 0.5%, which would be pretty bad. I don't know another way to read it. It was a knife edge call.
Yeah.
But what the problem with what they did is it makes it so unclear what's next.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. No, it isn't. They said it's probably going to be a 0.5 point in December. It was unclear what they were going to do before they did it. Wasn't it? Did you know what they were going to do? Was it going to be a 1/4 point, 0.5 point? Were they even going to do it? Were they going to wait till September? What were they going to do, fuckhead? You had no idea. Until they did it, it was uncertain. Now, until they do whatever they're going to do next, that's uncertain. Because you don't know. And if you had certainty, you'd be fucking Biff Tannen in Back to the Future 2.
Exactly. Hold on. We've got jobless claims crossing the tape right now. Let's get right to Cheryl Casoni with the breaking news. Cheryl.
It's all about employment, and we're seeing actually for the initial number, it came in a little bit under the expectation, 219,000. We were looking for 230,000.
Yes, there were fewer unemployed people than you guys were hoping for. Oh, boy.
But remember, unemployment is now at 4.2%. We started the year at 3.7%, something that Powell talked about yesterday.
Yeah, which makes his 0.5 basis points decision make a lot of fucking sense.
Continuing claims coming in a little bit weaker than expected, 1.8.
Right. Which is why they didn't go with fucking 0.75.
29 million. We were looking for 1.854 million. And really quick, Marie, we did get Philly Fed. Actually came in positive. We were looking for a negative number, and that number has been weak the last couple of months. Philly Fed came in at 1.7. It was at negative. The estimate was at negative 1%, a fall there. But, really quick, Powell talked about the influx of migrants. You got millions of people into the labor market, and then, you're only creating 100,000 jobs. Well, you've got an employment problem happening in this nation.
Yeah, I'm glad.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Yeah, you got 100,000 migrants. They get job permits. They're allowed to get jobs. They're allowed to work until their asylum claim is adjudicated or they go back home. Those people get work permits and they go work. They contribute to the Social Security system, but they don't get to keep it because they're not citizens. And then when they go back to the country, until they become citizens, they don't get to benefit from Social Security. That's how it works. So they pay into the system, and yet they don't get to take it out. So it artificially inflates Social Security and protects it while they don't get the benefits of it long term. So we know this.
Glad you mentioned that, Cheryl, because, Ken, I want to get your take on that, because yesterday Jay Powell talked about why the unemployment rate has been going up, and it has to do with the wide open border. Watch this.
If you're having millions of people come into the labor force and you're creating 100,000 jobs, you're going to see unemployment go up. We understand there's been quite an influx across the borders, and that has actually been one of the things that's allowed unemployment rate to rise. And the other thing is just the slower hiring rate, which is something we also.
Yes, that too.
So watch carefully.
Ken, your reaction.
Look, the open borders policy's been nuts.
We don't have an open border policy.
And the effect on the job market immediately is the least of it. I think we need a situation where...
You're right. It's going to be a bloodbath, I think is what Trump said.
A policy where there's more legal immigration and much less illegal immigration.
No. According to Project 2025, we don't need either.
But it makes it a lot harder for the Fed or anybody to figure out what's going on in the labor market.
Right. You know what I recommend is counting all the people, the undocumented people here in the census. That way we'll know exactly how many people are there, and it's better for resource allocation. Oh, wait, you don't want to do that because there's actually way fewer undocumented immigrants in the country than you guys say there are? There's certainly not 20. There's not 15. The estimate that the only realistic estimate I've ever heard is 10.3 right now, which is lower than it was 10 years ago.
Because indeed, there's been this big surge of people, and you don't know
No, there hasn't.
how much is in the underground economy and off the books. You don't know what's going
If it's on the underground economy and off the books, then it wouldn't show up in employment numbers.
on.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, illegal immigration is what we're talking about, not legal immigration.
Why? I'm sorry, do legal immigrants not take jobs from Americans at, say, Mar-a-Lago or Google?
Ken,
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, real quick on growth, Ken, do you expect a recession in the next year? Do you expect things to weaken from here? I know you said you agree with Jay Powell, but the economy has so many mixed signals, and we've seen real cracks in the labor market, especially after the Bureau of Labor Statistics the other day basically canceled that 818,000 jobs.
Which is why the 0.5 basis points. I think he's going to give you bad news. I think he's going to, he knows you want to hear, yes, there's going to be a recession. So they'll dance around that shit, right?
Yeah, that was a big change in our read of what's going on. I think the chance of having growth fall below 1% are extremely high. The odds of going all the way to negative, 25 or 30%. The economy is softening. There's no doubt about it.
All right, Ken, great to catch.
Jeez, great. See what I tell you? Fucking tap dance around. Yes, recession, but don't hold me to that because I don't want it to happen and it's not going to happen. But I know that's why you bring me on. So don't not bring me on because I didn't say there was going to be a recession. Motherfucker. These guys. Now, Chat room, you're welcome, by the way. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream on the interwebs. And we opened up. I commend you. I really do. Because you made it. You got through probably the wonkiest stuff I do is around the economy. Because it's there are a lot of moving parts. A lot of interesting details. A lot of math. And people start feeling lightheaded, and if they're not already sitting, if they're sitting, they feel like they need to lay down. If they're standing, they need to sit. And if they're on a treadmill, they often fall off. And I'm not responsible. There's a disclaimer at the beginning of the show that if you fall off your treadmill while watching the show from laughing or math, it is not my fault. You've been warned. So let's ease into, I love you guys. Please hit the like and subscribe and share the show and that kind of stuff and help me out. We're headed towards 1 million subscribers. Slowly, but we are. How you like them apples? I'm just going to start saying that. It seems to work for other people. Not only are you watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream that exists on the internet, and I am Hal Sparks, the Hal Sparksiest Hal Sparks that has ever Hal Sparksed ever. But we're headed towards 1 million subscribers, and you should be one of them because I'm going to use FOMO as a weapon. Why not? All right. Yeah, let's get those subs up. Don't be afraid. Maggots, start subscribing because, I mean, unless you're a bot, and then fuck off. I want real people. Okay. So obviously the math, very hard to understand. Let's take a walk down not necessarily a side street, more like a gravel road off a highway that has the kind of, if you breathe deep, it has the whiff of shallow grave about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the formerly funny and now just pissed, and someone I worked with on America's Funniest Mom as a competition show. I was one of the judges on that, and partly the host. And the most aggravating thing about that show was that there were a lot of female comedians who had been around for a long time competing on the show with newbies, and they were great, and it was annoying me that people didn't know them. So, anyways, Roseanne and her weirdo son have gotten a new fixation, and that is that the Earth, indeed, is flat. Now, spoiler alert, it is not. The Earth, ladies and gentlemen, is not flat. It's not flat. Parts of it feel flat because you are small. But she and her son have gotten into Flat Earth, and they have brought on a guest named Flat Earth Dave. And this clip is entitled, "The Lie is Bigger Than the Ground You're Standing on with Flat Earth Dave." Also, thank you, Google, for fact-checking. They're very nice. Flat Earth is an archaic and scientifically disproven conception. A lie. Crazy pants lie. But anyway, so this guy is on, and he's on with Roseanne and her son on a stretch of ground that, while hilly and with perhaps some element of slope to it, in no way disputes the idea that the Earth is indeed a giant dish we're all on. And also, some people will often say, "Well, my goodness, if the Earth is flat, what's gravity?" Well, apparently, according to these assholes, the Earth is moving through space this way or up, something like that. And like being in an elevator, it's the force of it going up and being flat that makes you feel like there's gravity. I'm not kidding. Okay, so Flat Earth Dave on Roseanne. Let's enjoy. Let's take the weight off our brain in terms of math and dealing with real issues, and just enjoy some good old-fashioned dipshittery. Like and subscribe.
My life.
It's all the world of bullshit, isn't it? Wall-to-wall horse shit.
It's bigger.
Well, which is it? I think there's a distinction because bullshit comes in flat piles and horseshit comes in little road apples. It's important because if you can't tell shit from shit, how are you ever going to tell shit from Shinola, Roseanne? Which you can't.
bigger than you can even imagine. I mean, you're just finding out today that the lie is bigger than the ground that you're standing on.
Well,
right?
I know it.
By the way, that's one of his go-to phrases. The lie is bigger than the ground that you're standing on. It's a line from his website.
Everything's a lie except
Right.
God.
Yeah, that's right. Everything is a lie except God, which is, I think, a limerick.
People, there's so many people that are awake to all the conspiracy, a lot of the conspiracies, right?
That's me.
But they still believe in NASA.
Yeah,
even though we've
that's
shown
me.
them that their rockets are fake. Go to my website, flatearthief.com.
Yes, the rockets, all of NASA's rockets are fake, which means Elon Musk is part of, I guess, the conspiracy, if not in charge of it now. So let me explain. So Starlink is bullshit. Elon Musk knows the Earth is not round and is flat and still sending fake rockets up into the sky so that he can sell electric cars to gullible Earthlings who don't understand that God gave us oil as the black blood of the Earth.
Think we went to the moon?
No, there's no moon.
There's no moon to go to. It's not a place.
That's
It's
what
right
you
there.
got to see the world.
It's
this
right
is what
there.
you got to do, Ma. You got to catch up with the
On my
flow.
website.
Yeah, that's what you got to do, Ma. Just forget anything you haven't touched yourself doesn't exist. It's all just the world is a video game you live in, and it only reses out to what's right in front of you. Or you're in your home with a crazy person, and you might want to call the authorities if he starts getting too excitable.
For those of you that are huge Elon fans, go to my website, scroll down to the banner that's just a whole bunch of pictures of Elon. Click it. There's a 5-minute video done by Greg Reese showing you that he is a 100% total fraud. Now, is he a knowing fraud or is it an MK Ultra fraud?
I think he's been hypnotized. I don't think anybody could knowingly be that stupid. I think that I've only seen behavior like you see from Elon Musk from people who are hypnotized into dry humping an inflatable woman at a Vegas hypnotist show, which I have actually seen. I'm pretty sure it's MK Ultra. Yeah. Because nobody is that fucking dumb, annoying, and gross. As a character they're doing in public. Like that is some Tony Clifton shit.
I go back and forth.
It's all MK Ultra.
Okay, maybe that.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Thank you, Roseanne. Thank you. No one is making a mistake. Everyone is being mind controlled, except, I guess, Roseanne not having a mind completly safe.
That's what it is.
See,
but
what
it's all lies.
I like about the flat Earth, because I'm getting into it now, is that
Totally into it. It's a thing. It's like all the hot kids are doing it. It's like it's like an H&M of conspiracies. You know what I mean? They change the clothing with the season on the regular, and it's all temporary, and you don't really have to commit to anything.
all the stuff that we kind of put out doesn't make sense. It kind of all fuses instantly.
That's right. Yes. It all boils down to flat Earth. If you believe flat Earth, you'll believe anything, I think is what he's trying to say.
All of it comes together. All those
makes
blue
sense
dots I showed you.
It is the Matrix.
It
I
is.
can see that.
Yeah, they're all.
Yeah, totally. We're all pixels in God on God's phone. He's just that's what Judgment Day is. God swipes right or swipes left. That's what happens when you die. Look, I don't make the rules, and I'm just telling you, okay? Or am I? It might be MK Ultra. I really couldn't tell.
All 99.9% of them didn't buy the medical tyranny that's been going on.
Yeah, we didn't.
Right? The one thing the Globers get right is
what medical tyranny? Oh, you mean getting vaccinated when there's a disease going around? How's that tyranny again?
it's like, oh, you're flat earther, you're probably an anti-vaxxer, right?
Definitely.
Hey, you got that right.
Yeah. Add it to the
Yeah,
list.
no shit.
No, I'm.
Yeah, I would like to real quick. I know you're stupid, but I would recommend you not try to test gravity, though. You might find yourself, and if you're going to test gravity, take as the great Bill Hicks once said, take off from the ground.
Right.
I'm 100% against medical tyranny. We were right about everything, every step of the way. I don't know. I get nervous about being
I
too
think they
open-minded.
put us all here.
I get nervous about being too open-minded. Hey, dummy, that's called being gullible. You can't be too open-minded because you're open and you're mindful about what you're hearing and stuff. What you're talking about is being gullible. And there is definitely a crest point from open-minded to dipshit who loses their rent to 3-card Monte on the L.
here, wherever we
And he's the guy you're sitting across from is the 3-card Monty guy.
are. And I love talking about it, but they're just using human beings as captive population for their experiments.
Absolutely.
What? Who's they? Are they humans themselves? Back the fuck up. Run that by me again, stupid. Hold on. I gotta. What the shit? Ma'am.
Absolutely. And
back up. One more time.
Wherever we are. And I love talking about it, but they're just using human beings as
Hold on. I didn't hear the first part of what she said. Sorry.
Right about everything every step of the way. I don't know. I get nervous about being
I
too
think they
open-minded.
put us all here wherever we are.
I think they put us all here, wherever we are. Cool. I'm with you. Mm-hmm.
And I love talking about it, but
Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't talk too loud or they might hear you, Roseanne.
they're just using human beings as captive population for their experiments.
Absolutely.
You don't have to tell me, baby. You're singing my song right now. I know how all this stuff works. Come on. When I was down in Baja, I went for a jog one day and I ran into the edge of the earth. There's a giant cloche. That's the cake cover that you see in a nice bakery when you go get some fucking waffles at a place and they have a nice pastry on the countertop, or a nice flan, or perhaps a cheesecake, and it's in that little glass dome, right? That's called a cloche. And the aliens that put us here put a big cloche over the earth, like the Truman Show. And I'm jogging a fucking along like this, high as shit on some Cabo Wabo skunk weed, and bam, hit my fucking face on the edge of the earth, and it stang.
I think this is a spiritual war that we're in, and they're taking our...
Absolutely. Have you ever tried to arm wrestle a ghost? It's a great way to throw out your shoulder.
Energy. They wanted that louche and negative energy.
Yeah, that louche.
Yeah, I got my louche caught in a car door once. It was not fun. Fuck is louche?
Yeah, absolutely.
They want that...
Like Lyndon LaLouche?
Energy, and they want to keep us in fear. So if you watch the news, north, east, west, south, they're steering...
Yeah, that's where they got the name from. Yeah, that's where news came from, dummy.
...your mind with the news.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And so they get us scared, and then they milk the louche out of us because it tastes like what? Cherry Sprite? What the fuck are you talking about?
Right? I never watch the news, but once a year I'll turn it on for like 2 minutes. I'm like, I can't take it anymore. It's just horrible.
Yeah, well, that's the MK Ultra. They make you do it at least once a year, so your louche gets that nice little. It gets a woody with a bit of cherry and some nice threads in it.
It's just nasty stuff.
Yeah, you feel it.
It's totally nasty. Yeah, like that Gutfeld guy. Fuck, man.
It's
right. It's
like, yeah. You ever see Judge Janine? God damn. I was like, I've seen grays with more natural beauty.
I say the news gives you cancer.
Yeah.
Watch the news, you'll get cancer.
Social media too, I think.
Yeah, I think the media.
Yeah, news, social media, penthouse letters. Don't get me started.
It gives you
All
cancer.
social media is
You know what gives you cancer is picking your ears. I heard that
All it
someplace.
does is create
Don't do it, Roseanne. Don't do it.
distrust.
Stop it. You're going to give yourself ear cancer. You're going to find the chip they put in your ear that's feeding you all this horse shit. And then what happens? They get mad. The signal goes dead. And then they go, what the fuck? And then everybody in the room freezes. And then they come down and they start banging on the side of your goddamn head. And they're like, shit, we got another one, Charlie. And then they open up your ear with a nail file and some space nail clippers, and they peel it back, and it hurts like a motherfucker. And then they put a new chip in, and they take the old one out, and they send it back to the factory, and you never get a refund. And then they're like, you need a receipt. And they're like, Jesus Christ, my receipt's in Alpha Centauri. I'm not going to go all the way back there to pick up my fucking receipt. And then you don't know all this because this all happens while you're out.
Division and hatred and fear.
Yeah, absolutely. And see,
Yeah, which is her fucking job. Yeah, don't try to take Roseanne's business model, you alien assholes.
The thing, false evidence appearing real is fear. False evidence appearing real.
Yeah, I know. I heard that from Gary Busey once. Up close. It was not fun. Yeah. His breath smells like a sardine can that someone has been storing fecal matter in.
Oh, that's good.
If you
Really, Roseanne, that's the first time you're hearing this shit? Come on. I'm the governor, and Jesus Christ, I think that was on my first note to self.
You focus on fear and nonsense and the news.
Right, which is basically, if you look at the three like keywords they use to help her show in the algorithm, it's those three: fear, nonsense, and news. Dude, that's her business models. If they went to the bank to get a loan, that's what she put down as assets.
That's going to manifest into your reality. They don't want us to know that our thoughts manifest our reality.
That's right. I didn't even have this mustache a couple of seconds ago, and then I thought about it, and then pow!
And when you were young,
that is true. I know that's true.
It must have been very easy for a woman to get into comedy, right? Joking.
Tell her you're joking, because she doesn't know what jokes are anymore.
Right? But you thought your way into it. You visioned it. You imagined it. You saw it. And
yeah, real quick. Very seldom do people end up in a career they wanted to do without thinking about it. Most people, by and large, don't trip and fall into a career in stand-up comedy. They usually think about it before they actually do it. At least a little bit.
And you made it happen.
I visualized
That's the truth for everything.
So it is.
Not exactly. Because seriously, when I was working on Predator, I wasn't like, governor of Minnesota. But after a while, it sounded fan-fucking-tastic.
Are you into simulation theory then?
Well, I don't like that word, simulation theory.
Yeah, don't like that at all, because that means not a god, but outside digital puppet master.
I don't either.
But this place is an interesting realm.
Right, it is.
I've often said that. Sometimes I'll say it when I'm standing in line at the grocery store just to freak people out. This is an interesting realm. And they'll go, realm, it's a Kroger's. And I go, shut up. It's a short conversation.
It's an interesting realm. I think this is...
Sorry, I'm fucking cracking myself up over here, and I apologize. It's not professional. Shut up. Just get back to it.
I'm not speaking for anyone else. I think that...
All right, tell us how it goes. Fucking flat earth Pete.
That the stars in the sky are where our souls reside. They're angelic.
Hey, asshole, you just told us there's no sky. You just said there's no moon, there's no sky. If there's no sky, there's no stars. Fuck are you talking about?
They're angels. That's why they don't move, because they're perfect.
So anything that moves isn't perfect. Dude, you're fucking odd.
Okay.
Right? And we...
So you're saying my hips aren't perfect. I disagree.
Take time coming here to have this avatar experience in this physical realm. I don't believe it's a all computer simulation.
Okay.
But
what's the fucking difference? Honestly, because it sounds digital versus what? What do you think? It's claymation?
We're here having this spiritual this experience.
It's a physical experience. We were having try to keep up with your own fucking story, dummy.
In a 3D physicality.
I believe that too.
Right.
Of course you do. You believe any fucking thing. You're Roseanne's goddamn kid. You'll believe literally anything. Dear God, man, I wish I had a crypto called Roseanne coin right about fucking now.
And then there's layers of heaven above us, and I don't know what's below us, but...
Clearly a plate, and above us is icing. It's reality cake. Have a slice.
Some people might consider this hell, right? This is...
Yes, I agree. I'm fairly certain that if there is a hell, you have to watch Roseanne Barr's podcast 24-7 while listening to Lara Trump sing.
It's an amazing experience. It's an amazing time to be alive. And when you wake up to this
Also hell, though. Gotcha.
stuff, you're never bored. It's just mind blowing. Here's the thing.
I don't know. I got to tell you, pal. I just saw Roseanne. She looks kind of bored. Kind of fucking bored, buddy.
You can go on YouTube and the internet and search Loch Ness Monster fairies,
Oh, you don't have to tell me that, man. If you do, you'll find me standing right next to him.
whatever, all the information about aliens, tons of stuff. Flat Earth, they feed you propaganda. You can go, hey, last year I was looking.
Wait a minute. Are you saying the flat earthers are feeding propaganda to people?
Into underwater basket weaving, and I watched a video. I can go to my YouTube history, search for it, and I'll find that video in my YouTube history. Right? If you were able to find some good flat Earth videos and watch them.
I've watched a lot of flat Earth videos. None of them are good. Maybe that's the problem you're having. I mean, I got to be honest, shit production value.
You can then go to your history and search for flat Earth, and none of them will show up.
Yeah, that's not actually a thing. I think you're thinking of Pornhub.
Yeah.
Just propaganda videos will replace them.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Whatever you watched is still there, dum-dum.
That's the only one that they're doing. It's the only topic that they'll do that with.
Yeah.
They don't actually do that. That doesn't happen at all. Roseanne doesn't know what the fuck you're talking about because the other day she checked her history. She asked her son to do it for her and said, show that video about the flat earth thing to this guy. And he went, scroll. There it is. Click.
That tells you
It's
something.
not the only one because that's what radicalized
Yeah, no, definitely not. Everything she tries to watch is suddenly gone until her son finds it for her and she goes, oh, there it is.
me.
Yeah, okay.
Was my study of Torah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, they don't allow videos on the Torah on YouTube at all. It's an anti-Jew thing, I think.
And Judaism, which I've done my whole life, but
Yeah, and never allowed on YouTube. The one thing you can't find on YouTube, stuff about Jews.
and I use the
Well, positive stuff anyways. The negative stuff is all there.
internet to do it, but I saw how they were erasing actual Jewish history on the
I think you're thinking of Charlie Kirk.
internet and erasing actual Torah too. Because when I'd go on, it would be like a
Wait a minute. So, sorry. Every time you search for something on the Torah on the internet, if you go to a copy of the Torah, it's gone. Fucking cool. Right on. Okay. Yeah. Zero problem with that. I'm sure that actually happens.
fake kind of not Judaism.
Right. But like cartoon Judaism, like Transformer Judaism.
It would be an infiltrated fake Judaism. And
Yeah. That's the worst kind.
at the end, it would say something about the Catholic Church or something about a Protestant. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. When you go back to look at the Jew video you were watching and it's all about Methodists. Yawn.
Rabbis of Judaism.
Again, they're giving
So
you a little bit.
I knew then that
Right.
they erase history. They give us the information they want us to have.
Fantastic. Absolutely. And by the way, all those videos available in the basement of the Denver airport. Meet you there, Roseanne.
And who controls
You know the way. You were in Hollywood.
it is a very small. I figured out it's about 2,500 people
Is the word you're looking for cabal?
Yeah.
that control all information.
Yeah.
Might even be less than that, actually.
Probably 2. I'm going with 2, maybe. I mean, well, if both of them go out to eat, maybe you need a third. Maybe there's like 5 of them. You know what I mean? So if 4 people go out for dinner, 1 person can be there watching all the information. That sounds about right. About 5 people control all the thought on the planet. Now, I know what you're thinking. Did they make you say that? No. So I'm maybe one of the 5? Is that what you're saying? Fuck you, okay?
Actually,
Well, but that's That's the big circle that controls everything about.
Yeah, the big circle. I've heard of them. I mean, of all your conspiracy groups, fuck you, Illuminati, the big circle is here.
What we're allowed to know.
Right.
They're the owners of the world, like George Carlin said.
Yeah, he was just talking about rich people. Not the circle jerks.
They are the owners and the arbiters.
Well, if they're the owners then are we living here rent-free? No wonder they feel like they can experiment on us. How dare we? I think you're right, Roseanne. We all ought to leave.
But here's the thing. We are getting...
Oh, here's the thing. Thank God.
To a point of critical mass where we can all exit the matrix.
That's right. Bye. I think it was that Apple White fucker that said something similar. Hey, Roseanne, if this asshole asks your son to cut his balls off and stuff them in his Nikes and wait for a spaceship in the tail of an asteroid, don't.
Well, I hope we do, and I hope we do it fast.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, because you don't want to ease out of something like the Matrix. You want to just wake up from it and go, what the fuck? Because that's healthy.
Because since I exited it, which has been quite a while, I have to say.
Yes. I see. Sorry, I didn't realize the Matrix was code for general sanity.
You find free creative space. You can actually think and create and feel good and feel love.
That's right. Fantastic. That's why she never has a bad word to say about any of her fellow humans. She recognizes that everything they're doing is just under the control of the Circle and MK Ultra, which is apparently the program they use to control us. So nobody's responsible. So she never denigrates her fellow humans, talks down to them or badly and maligns them in any way. I think that's fantastic, Roseanne, because now that you're out of the Matrix, you can recognize that they're just simply in the Matrix and it's not their fault. Or... Sorry, I must have misheard you because you shit talk everybody all the time.
That's what it's all about. It's all about love.
Excuse me, fuckwad. What it's all about is the goddamn hokey pokey. Okay? You put your left foot in, you take your left foot out, you put your left foot in, you shake it all about, you do the hokey pokey, you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Or I might have been programmed by MK Ultra to say that. That's possible. Jesus Christ, why do I have the sudden urge to buy a copy of Catcher in the Rye?
That's why they want to keep us 6 feet apart. They want us being afraid of each other. They want you to believe in systemic racism.
I think they wanted you to sit 6 feet apart because that's just how the furniture is laid out in her place.
It's all just...
You do realize they don't want us 6 feet apart right now. You do realize you're allowed, we're allowed to, you just stay away from someone when you're sick so you don't pass a, never mind.
6 feet apart, my one friend who knows about MK Ultra says
Wait, your one friend? Hang the fuck out. You have friends that don't know about MK Ultra? How is that fucking possible?
Is 6 feet under.
Yeah.
It's a living death, where you're not allowed to come in contact with humanity.
Yeah, that's what it's all.
Well, I gotta say, there's some humanity I'd rather not come into contact with, especially if they're coughing up a fucking lung.
All about our we have this 6 foot, average toroidal field around us with our heart energy, and they want us interacting. I mean, they literally want to take us away from all of our natural senses.
Well, then why did they allow people to share houses together? Why didn't they build a bunch of little cells and move people out of, because there's obviously family members living together during the pandemic and they were close to each other. You didn't have to stay 6 feet away from the people in your house. I'm just saying there's a slight problem with that plan.
Yeah,
when you look into this, it's phenomenal. Belief is the...
Yeah, that's true. I looked into it, and it is phenomenal.
Lazy man's...
Looked into what?
Knowing, okay?
I've always thought that. Yes, it is.
Yeah, because it's easy. You guys believe I live in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Do you know it?
No.
I'm not even certain he's not armed and carrying syphilis right now. What's the fucking point? You mean he's trying to? I appreciate that he's trying to point out to both of them that they're stupid for trusting him.
No, you don't, right? But knowing takes time and effort, and
right. Who has time for that shit?
People are lazy, and people are like, I don't really need to verify that.
So you're saying that Roseanne and her son are lazy for not checking your ID and having a third party check it, and then flying to where your house allegedly is and quizzing you about the contents. I've experienced levels of paranoia myself, but this, I got to tell you, you take the space cake, my friend.
My intuition tells me Dave's not lying about that. So
your intuition? Yeah, that's how you end up in a panel van with your hands and feet tied.
You got to figure everything else out.
My intuition tells me this guy with a broken arm needs help getting this chair into a van at 1 o'clock in the fucking morning.
If you look into flat Earth, if you Google flat Earth, you're going to get nonsense. Your brain's going to get tired.
So your website will come up then.
You get confused and you're going to give up, right?
That's right. You're going to give up after a while going, wow, this is bullshit. I don't have time for this.
That's why I created this app. It bypasses their algorithm. You can find it at flatearthdave.com. And I offer a...
Sorry, how am I supposed to get... I'm supposed to use the internet. But I suppose I should use an Ethernet cable unless I'm using satellites. I see.
For the people that think I'm crazy, you can win 3 Bitcoins from me for 1 globe proof. All you got to do is watch the daily video every day. There's a new video every day.
Right, so you can make money off of them, and you'll never pay out the 3 Bitcoins.
For like 2 weeks while you're having your breakfast, tea.
You don't have 3 Bitcoins to give away.
Coffee, whatever. And at the end of that, send me 1 proof and you win 3 Bitcoins. The problem is you're going to end up being a flat earther if you do that. So fair warning, if you take my challenge, you're not getting 3 Bitcoins and you're going to be a flat earther. So because you're going to say whatever proof they send you is just NASA bullshit, and therefore you never have to pay it out because you legally have to believe what they're sending you and you don't believe anything. Fantastic. Nice business model. Have you ever thought of working in the Trump campaign? So there you go. Yep. There I go. Fuck me. That, ladies and gentlemen, there is no. I've racked my brain trying to find something on the internet that's equally as stupid as that, and I think I found it. You're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. Hit the like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. You know what's even more, I don't know, steeped like a tea bag in bullshit than the flat earther nonsense we just heard from Roseanne and her guest and her son? Why, folks, it's Donald Trump's new scheme to defraud maggots out of their money. Now, he started this thing called World Liberty Financial, which is a decentralized finance vehicle and a crypto to go along with it. And he's courting all these crypto fuckheads in the process, because after he loses the election, he believes his next big get-rich-quick scheme, or at all, I guess, is going to be in crypto. And so he's created his own bullshit crypto. And on top of that, they have this bank that they're going to start, which is a DeFi, decentralized finance. And it was the guys who were running it, besides just being fraudsters themselves, just were involved in a let's see if I can find the DeFi story. Yeah. Finance is the name of it. And it just got hacked to the tune, yeah, here you go. To the tune of somewhere in the order of, get back out here, you crazy thing. I don't understand why, ladies and gentlemen,
let's see. There we go. Pop this back out. Financial. Let's see. Trump promotes new crypto company, World Liberty Financial, despite once calling Bitcoin a scam. Now, the guys that are working on it with him are, let's see, worked on a thing called Dough Finance, which Dough. Brilliant, I know. And his business partner, this guy Chase Harrow, who once described himself as the dirtbag of the internet, and said basically you could sell anybody anything, and that's his business model. Worked on this thing called Dough Finance. They got hacked, lost $2 million. They're in big SEC trouble. And so Trump went, this guy's genius, and brought him on to run this thing. And basically, on the architecture of what Dough was, how Dough was created, Trump created this World Liberty Financial thing, and then launched his own stupid, absurd Bitcoin thing, like wannabe Bitcoin shit. Now, let's go into here. There we go. Pop this in here. And this is Trump at a crypto bar, a Bitcoin bar in New York, and watch him try to pay for his bill with Bitcoin while answering some questions about Bitcoin. Now, let's be abundantly clear. Trump knows fucking nothing about Bitcoin. He just knows it's a great way to launder money. Yes, and by the way, I don't know how close they get in this video, so there should be a nut warning on this. I apologize if there's a close-up. I don't know what else to tell you, folks. It's going to be pretty horrific these days. But here we go. The Dough crypto people created this thing, and so Trump went to this Bitcoin bar, or this Bitcoin gathering in a bar. And, you'll see.
In the meantime, we're keeping an eye on Donald Trump. He is in a bar, I believe, in downtown New York called the Pub Key in downtown Manhattan. Maybe we can play up some sound here, guys, and see if he says anything.
Yeah, play some sound. This is him at this Bitcoin gathering in a bar. They're playing Ace Frehley's Back in the New York Groove over the speakers because they want to torment me by playing decent Kiss music behind this asshole.
So, here, just gonna scan this QR code.
Okay, now I'm gonna get a fucking copyright strike because they're playing this shit. This is, I'll do this. I'm gonna mute it while they're doing this, but they show him, this is how you're gonna pay for your tab. He's paying for the tab with Bitcoin. So they're gonna use his phone or a fake phone or something like that. I still have that album, Foot Munch. I do. But they show him, like, here's how you do it. Here's the app. And then this is the bill for all the drinks and the food here. And you're going to pay for it with Bitcoin. And they have to take it out of his fucking hands to show him how to tap pay for something. Because he didn't pay for anything. And it's not his fucking money. Look, what they take it out of his hand and they show him how to do it, and like you tap there and then you swipe here and then you tap again. Hold on a second. And then you tap here. Let me do it. Hold on a second. And then you hold it there and you just gotta wave it around. Maybe you'll hit it. And then we pay for it there. And then you accept this and you say no tip because you're an asshole. And then look at that. You've paid for it with Bitcoin. Look at you, Grandpa. And again, and Trump's going, wait, did I just pay for everybody's drinks with something I don't even understand? It's still not working. This is great. It's like a well-oiled fucking machine. Just, hey, hold on. Is he saying something? Hold on. Let's see.
First transaction by a president.
Hold on.
Go through. All right, we're done.
Perfect.
It did go through.
The first transaction by a president.
Former president.
On the Bitcoin protocol. History.
You know what that means?
You know what that means, don't you? Because I don't.
It's history. It's history of the making. Hello.
History of the making. Actually, it was just made. In the making would mean you were... in the making was that part where you're like, how does this work? And they had to take the phone out of your hand because you're a shithead and you didn't know how to fucking tap pay for anything because you're a rich asshole who doesn't even drive a car.
Everybody, I got to go back and see those people. All right, let's go. Come on.
Right this way.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Sir, what's your reaction to the Fed cutting interest rates today?
Okay, so what's your reaction to the Fed cutting interest rates today?
I guess it shows the economy is very bad to cut it by that much. Assuming they're not just playing politics, the economy would be very bad, or they're playing politics, one of the.
It wouldn't have to be one or the other. It would be both. Because they'd be trying to help the economy, I guess.
The other, but it was a big cut.
Mr. President.
No, it wasn't.
Any reaction to the Teamsters' decision not to endorse?
No, they were. It's a great honor. They're not going to endorse the Democrats. That's a big thing. And this is the first time, and I guess
it's a great honor for them not to endorse me.
It's 50, 60 years that that's happened. Democrats automatically have the Teamsters.
No, they don't.
They took a vote, and I guess I was at 60% or more, and that's a great honor. I mean, it's really, I've had a lot of Teamsters work for me, a lot of the concrete trucks, and built all these.
Yes, the concrete trucks. Why does that come to mind? Hold on. Let's see. Why would concrete trucks? Let's see. Trump, concrete, mob. Let's see. Let's see. The 5 most. Here you go. Donald Trump's alleged mob ties. 5 most damning revelations from the report. Trump reportedly used mobbed up concrete. That's the top one on the list of David K. Johnson's thing. Trump allegedly bought ostensibly overpriced concrete from a company controlled by mafia leaders Anthony Fatoni Salerno and Paul Castellano, according to Politico. The concrete used to build Trump Tower was allegedly made from materials that Trump purchased for inflated prices from Fatoni and Castellano in exchange for union cooperation. Yeah, you know him from concrete, did you? Did you? You want to be in New York and bring up concrete in a downstairs bar? Because that's just immediately what pops into your fucking head.
These buildings that you see in New York City, the Teamsters, exclusively Teamsters, I have to say, they've done a great job. But the vote.
No, he doesn't use exclusively Teamsters.
Of the Teamsters themselves was very high for me, and the leadership, Sean O'Brien and the group, who are great people, they said we can't endorse the Democrats. So I think this is the first time in many decades that they haven't endorsed Democrats.
Big difference in those big industrial states, you think? They're going to make a difference?
I think it will, yeah, I think so. The Teamsters carry a lot of weight. The Democrats cannot believe that. And, look, this is, it was always automatic that Democrats get the Teamsters, and they said we won't endorse the Democrats this year. So that was an honor.
Yeah, or you.
For me.
Because you're a scab.
There's a lot of concern about your vulnerability as you golf. Are you going to continue to golf? And have you talked with the Secret Service about upping
Well, we'll
security?
look at it, and we'll do what the Secret Service wants. You don't want to ever be curtailed because of, the crazy people out there.
No, you don't want to. Yes, I know there's music in the background. Sorry, it's Lowrider. I hear it in the background, too. By the way, fair use. Stop grabbing shit. If he's walking around, they're playing music in the background. Copyright. Yeah, I gotta dump. I'm gonna have to dump out of this. You guys are absolutely right. I'm gonna get hit by it, and that's how they get you. That's fucking how they get you. Now, shit. I'm at the end of the show already, and it just zips fucking by. Can we? All right. I'm gonna dive in to something else. See how low can you go? This low. Gutfeld has a special guest.
First of all, I would like to apologize. King be able to Aries fetus.
Trump is on Gutfeld.
Mr. P, how's your golf game?
Well, haven't been.
That's a joke about the fact that someone tried to kill you on your golf course. That's you don't know that because you're thick as a whale omelet.
Thinking about it too much lately. I always said golf is a very dangerous game.
It really is. It really is.
Did you? You really did?
Especially if they're playing with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's
what? That was a mean joke.
Pretty sad.
No, it just wasn't a joke.
Did you?
It lacked all the working parts of an actual joke, Greg.
They had told you that the shooter was there. Would you have tried to take him out with your 3-wood?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. If I knew. Actually, the Secret Service did a great job. They saw the barrel of a gun, big gun.
Yeah.
And it came out through bushes.
It did. It came out through bushes.
And how many people would see that? He really was very exceptional to have done it. And we've been going through a lot of it. We're getting very good at it, but I don't want to say that too loudly because we don't want to bring any jinxes along, Tyrus. Right? But it's
Tyrus? You mean Tyrese? You know what? Fuck me. Keep calling him Tyrus. Sure. And by the way, Nikki, what's his name is a hot chick. Sure.
I mean, at least he could have yelled 4.
This is not a good thing to have practice at.
No.
Like, we're getting really good at stopping assassinations of Donald Trump. It's great. But I want to ask you, so Kamala Harris and the president, Joe Biden, if he's still president, we don't know. They called you after you got shot.
He's still president, for the record.
That and to wish you well, to say all these nice things.
They do.
But they're the same people that moments before say you're a threat to democracy, an existential threat, worse than Hitler.
Yeah, but he also says they're Marxist fascists that are going to destroy our country, and if they win, we're never going to have another election, and there's not going to be another country. Like, he talks way worse shit about them, dummy.
Does that mean that everything they say is full of
Well, both of the shooters, one is dead and the other one is in prison, and it was really great work.
Jail. There's a difference, even though he doesn't think so.
Again by Secret Service, and a woman who saw somebody running.
Yeah.
And running
after hearing gunshots
for the car because he was caught, and the Secret Service agent started shooting at him. Didn't do any talking. Said just that's a barrel of a gun. Started shooting, which was amazing. That he saw it and then he started shooting. And so this man.
Why would that be amazing? That would be probably right in line with the job, I would think, unless it turned out to be one of their own.
And is running to the car, and a woman is a woman, of course. Woman's always a woman, right?
We just found out.
No, it's not always a woman, but I don't know what you mean, but sure.
Yeah. No, but think about that. How smart. Who would do this?
Who would hear gunshots, see someone fleeing from the bushes, hop into a car, and drive away and not take down their license plate number?
She sees somebody running, and she didn't like the way he looked. He looked very suspicious.
Is that what it was? He looked wrong, and there were gunshots.
And followed him.
And he was alone, running from the bushes next to a golf course.
And took the car, parked it right behind his, and started taking pictures of the license plate. Who would do that?
A camera.
She also didn't park right behind him. He pulled out, and she followed him, and she took pictures as he stopped at the light and drove away.
And then sent the picture to the sheriff, who's a great sheriff of Palm Beach County.
Right, because she heard gunshots, and that's why.
And sent the pictures to the sheriff's office, and they got him in a high-speed chase down the highway.
Yeah.
But who
medium speed
would do that? I mean, I said, out of 1,000 incidents, would that ever happen? And they said very rarely a thing like that. So she's very much of a
very rarely. Which part? That people hear gunshots, see someone running, they look suspicious, and they call it in?
Heroine, right? Heroine.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the word. That's for a female hero. Well done.
It blows my mind, like how you take these events so not lightly, but it's almost casually. The way, like, I get more angry, when my pant pocket gets caught on a doorknob. I get angrier about that.
Well, that's because you're weak, obviously, and he's strong. Yes, Donald loves you.
And you get angry about getting shot at. It doesn't.
Because you don't have 9 people in bulletproof vests making sure that your pocket doesn't get caught on a doorknob?
How do you...
And you also have no attachment to reality?
Process that.
Well, number one, do I have a choice?
Yeah.
Right? What am I going to do, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a choice? But, it's interesting. I was thinking a lot about it over the last period of time, since Butler. And
right. So you weren't thinking about it before that.
And being president is a very dangerous job.
Really? It just occurred to you? Also, you're not president. I think what you're trying to say is being a candidate for president is a very dangerous job, especially if your followers are lunatics. You're not president.
Because with a race car driver, that's a dangerous job. It's like,
yeah, sure,
0.1% die. With a bull rider, I think bull riding looks pretty scary, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit more than that die. With a president, what is it, 6% or 7%? It's the most dangerous profession there is. So if you want to be president, I have a lot of friends.
Oh, boy.
That wanted to run. They're thinking about maybe not doing it. But here's the only good thing is that
it's the only good thing.
It's always a consequential president that gets shot at.
So you're saying Gerald Ford was more consequential than you were? Cool. And you're saying, I guess, that neither Bush was consequential, and you weren't consequential because it didn't happen while you were president.
And fortunately, so far, I've been very lucky, or something.
So you, McKinley, Garfield, Taft, right? Wait, who is it? Yes.
Is greater than all of us.
Ooh.
Something is up there. Someone is up there, maybe watching over us.
I think he's voting for you.
Yeah. It's funny.
But not for firefighters who bring their family to his rallies, obviously.
I always thought the most dangerous job was feeding the View. But you bring up God. And you've almost been killed twice. Do you think more about...
Believe me, his heart and his colon haven't gotten started.
Your own mortality and what happens after you move on?
Yeah, not about mortality, but I do think more about God because
people tell you the odds of you getting hit were so high and it was like a 1-foot putt.
Okay, Butler was really the greatest of all miracles. If I'm not...
Yeah, dude, 2 other people got gravely injured and will never be the same again. And one guy had his fucking brains blown out all over his family. I wouldn't advise bringing Providence in on this.
Looking over there, and I mean a full turn, exactly 90 degrees, I wouldn't be here right now.
Bullshit. If the bullet had gone, that's like saying if the guy hadn't been rushed, you wouldn't be here right now. It's more about the cop that climbed up there than it was about what fucking direction your head was going.
And your ratings would be a little bit lower, perhaps.
Yeah. We'd have kill me there.
We have to tell the story of how we first met. The ratings over. Remember that one week he just played that thing? But I do think about that because the chart, it was basically an immigration chart. We had our lowest numbers that we've ever had.
Oh, right. The lying chart. Hold on. Trump immigration chart. This would be a good way to end the show today. Let me see if I can. Where's his? There's got to be an image of the actual one he was using. Where's that one? There we go. Yeah, this is it. Here you go, kiddo. This is this is Trump's one that he talks about all the time. This is his chart. Where he goes, this right here, in case you can't read, where this red arrow is, it says Trump leaves office. Right there. Trump leaves office. There you go. And then this is Trump clampdown begins. Whatever. This is where the clampdown, whatever the fuck that's. Okay, new DHS tools begin. Tariff threat leads to Mexican cooperation. Blah, blah, blah. This is really where the disease starts to spread. But right here, this is, just in case you're wondering, right here where it says Trump leaves office, that's April of 2020. That's when that arrow is. Trump leaves office in January of 21. There's the marker for 21. And the first tick over is January. It's right there. This was the climb after the 15 days to slow the spread shit really kicked in. It was right about here. And then it went all the way down to this. The lowest it was during COVID. And that's April of 2020. just to clarify, and just real clear. According to this chart that Trump says is his favorite chart in the world and saved his life, according to that chart, Donald Trump ceased to be president in 2020, in April of 2020. That's when it went to its lowest. It was in April of 2020. And by the way, I'll remind everybody that during the 15 days to stop the spread and all that kind of shit, there's always a lag on these kind of numbers. They just stopped counting. Even when people got through, they were just like, we're not paying. They pulled DHS and Customs and Border Patrol down to like skeleton crews. And so the numbers were counted lower as well. But that's exactly when that is. Hold on, back up. Can we? This is the factcheck.org. Let's see. Can we bring? What does this do? Visual search. Okay, hold on. This is the biggest thing. I just want to open it up. Let's see. Open image in new tab. That's what we want. We want to do. There we go. So we can really blow this fucker up. There we go. So if you look right here, yeah, boink. Let's jump right in here, shall we? There you go. So check this out, kids. Here's 2021 right here, right there. That's the beginning of 2021. That's January of 2021 right there. That's January 1st, 2021. There's where the 21 is. See that? That straight line up there? Okay. You'll notice that it has started, that undocumented immigration into the country, illegal immigration, has started to skyrocket right afterwards. Just saying. Largely because of Title 42. And these are not the people that actually came into the country and stayed. The vast majority of this, what you're really looking at here is recidivism. This orange part right here is all people who came and left and came and left and came and left and came and left. And so somebody enters the country is 5 times, is kicked out 4 times, counts as 5 people according to the Trump crowd. But what we can be abundantly clear about, there's no argument whatsoever that Donald Trump says Trump leaves office, lowest illegal immigration in records is what it says right here. That is, there's 2019, here's 2020, January, February, March, April. Right where that arrow is, that is April of 2020 on this chart. April of 2020, Trump leaves office. And now there's certain truth to this. I will say there's a certain truth to this. Because at this point, he just decided, fuck it. He'd stopped even fucking pretending. This is also when, the next month and the month after that was when he sold the largest order of pork, corn, soybeans, and beef to China while Americans were in food lines because of COVID. If you'll recall, remember in Texas when they had those big long food lines and they were handing out food and all that kind of shit, and you had people like Ted Cruz and shit, like basically. Hold on, can I make this even bigger? I guess I can. There we go. Move this. How do you move it? There you go. There we go. See, now you can really look at it. It looks much better for Trump from a way off. Boy, does this chart work really fucking well when you're in an audience at one of these dipshit gatherings on a sunny day in the middle of nowhere. But once you actually get to look at it, and you're like, oh, 19, that must be 20. Here's 21. This would be April of 2020. According to this chart, Donald Trump ceased to be president in April of 2020, according to his favorite chart. And again, he certainly gave up after a while. After the election, he was like, fuck it. When he was like, we would have had a deal with Iran within 2 weeks after the election. Well, then why didn't you make it? Just for posterity and the safety of America and Israel. Why wouldn't you make that deal? And what would you have added to that deal that the incoming president and his administration would have rescinded? What would you have given them where they would have gone, what the fuck? Right? Yeah, he might as well have just drawn this arrow with a fucking Sharpie. Here is where Donald Trump, this is where it was when Donald Trump left office, right here, right? That spot right there. That's when Donald Trump left office. This is from April of 2020 to January of 2021. And the rest of this, by the way, is recidivism. Same people coming in multiple times. Now, I think, let's see if we can do this. Control minus. Yeah. Okay, so they make no distinction. There's nothing in this chart. Here's DACA announced back here. Like how terrible. Obama family detention policy, whatever Flores reinterpreted. MPP begins. Whatever. Trump tariff threatens Mexican cooperation. Starting to go up here. And then it went down because of COVID and all kinds of other shit. New DHS tools in summer of 2019. Summer of 2019 was when the disease was starting to spread all over the fucking place, especially if you had connections with China. It was coming in. But a myriad of other things as well. And they stopped counting, too, because he didn't like the numbers. And then took a giant shit. By the way, this is also, I would like to say, this is also when right after I started my live stream. I started this live stream, the regular live stream, Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, in March of 2020. So I'm as responsible for this dip in illegal immigration as Trump is. Because I never pretended to stop working after that. Yeah. So, and again, the rest of this, it's hard to even tell what the fuck. Like, they have arrows pointing out. Biden world record illegal immigrations, many from prisons and mental institutions, also terrorists. At the top of this, with an arrow pointing at this red line of nothing like this has ever happened to our country before! Exclamation point. I don't know who the fuck made this, but it is hilariously bad. Okay, so. Okay, all right. So the chart, it's way over here on the side. Let's blow this up. So this is their way of charting it. Minors are the red is minors, blue are families, yellow is single adults. And again, in large part, these are the people who get kicked out immediately and then come back through. So if you're going to have recidivism, it's going to be in these folks. It's going to be in this orange area. The families and the minors are the ones that are going to get asylum right away. The single adults in the orange, they're going to be the ones who they immediately get rejected, sent to Mexico, come right back through, and then right back through, and then right back through, and gacked up all the recidivism numbers that we looked at. So just to be clear, so this bullshit chart was always bullshit, and it's always going to be bullshit.
In immigration, and I very rarely use it. Maybe
he uses it all the time.
15-20%. It's always on my left, and it's always at the end of a speech.
Also, no, it isn't. He has two screens most of the time.
So now I said, bring down the chart right at the very beginning, almost like the first sentence of the speech.
Because the only thing you want to talk about these days is immigration. Because you didn't want to talk about anything else except brown people are invading our country because the poisoning the blood of our country conversation point is your favorite fucking thing to talk about.
Bring down that chart because.
Oh, sorry. Somebody's saying what? Judge got shot by Loudoun County, Kentucky sheriff himself, was arrested. Jesus. Oh, and can I say for the record, the dude, the I-75 guy, I think it was a 275 Kentucky shooter dude. My mom, when they were looking for the guy in the woods, the Kentucky shooter, who opened fire on a bunch of cars and he wounded 5 people, and then he ran off in the woods and he'd left this message that he's going to kill a bunch of people and then himself and all this shit. And they couldn't find him. They were using heat sensors and all kinds of stuff, like infrared, to try and find him. My mom, who's a nurse, her immediate reaction was before this happened, he's dead. She's like, that's why they can't see him with infrared, with heat-seeking stuff in the in there. Sorry, where we go? I saw in the staff chat. What am I looking for? She was like, the reason they don't find him is because he's dead. His body stops putting off heat after a little while, and then that was that. Well, my mom was right. and they were putting out guards around my, Frankfurt, where the area where my family's from, and she was like, I don't know why they're doing this. He's dead. Like, she was saying it. She's told me this, and sure as shit, this couple found him. Yep, followed the buzzards. Kentucky people found the body believed to be interstate shooting suspect after scouring the woods for days. For 11 days, they scoured the vast, rugged wilderness of Daniel Boone National Forest in the manhunt for 32-year-old suspect Joseph Couch, who apparently was angry that J.D. Vance tried to sex him up. I'm kidding. Who authorities say texted a woman before the shooting that he planned to kill a lot of people and then kill himself. 5 days into the unsuccessful manhunt, Fred and Sheila McCoy set out for Couch in the dense wilderness, hoping for a piece of the reward that's being offered for information. And sure enough, they found him dead. Continued to evade capture day after day, especially after he was dead. Anyways, so my mom called it. I'm just saying. I definitely come from good stock. I had an uncle who was the longest serving English teacher at Nashville Tech. Something like that. Yeah. Yes, if they're circling, if buzzards are circling, it's not vultures there, it's buzzards. If the buzzards are circling, dead. And we knew this when I was a kid. Like, you driving around, you'd see birds circling, you're like, oh, something's dead. Usually a deer, something like that. Occasionally a person. Yep. Anyway, so we'll end on that, because God knows he's not going to say anything worth saying, and maybe I'll cover this tomorrow. Because tomorrow, even though I have to go to Durham tomorrow night, I got to be on a red eye tomorrow night, I still will be able to do my regular show. So tomorrow, Friday Eye in the morning, and then of course in the afternoon, our regular show, which maybe entails me picking up where we left off with this horse shit. Because I already went long, and you guys are wonderful, and I love you, and I will see you later, and take care of yourself and take care of somebody else, and dear God, I've got to get something to eat. I finally got some sleep. Can you tell? Like, I feel like yesterday I was like, here's a show. He's doing a show. And then finally I got like a decent night's sleep after the drive back from the show on Tuesday. All right. Anyways, much love. Talk to you later. If I'm going to see you in Durham, wave in the chat room. If I'm going to see you in Durham or in Phoenix or in Kansas City. Because I want to do, I need to do a meetup at some of these things. But I don't want to eat into the meet and grope, because that would be bad for everybody else's business, and that's not right. So I'm always conflicted about that. So it wouldn't be on the same day. It would have to be on a different day or something like that. And that if I'm lucky, maybe the kidney will show up, or...
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
True. All right, thanks everybody. Hit that like. We'll see you soon. Tomorrow our guests will be Rob Glenn for Friday Eye and Liberal Dan in the second hour. Right on. Richard Flair for the super chat, who says, I'm going to step back into the TARDIS. I'm going to need to scrape the nunt off my shoes, though. Anybody got a nunt scraper? Thanks very much. And M. West, thank you. Has anyone seen their bullets, no bullets, not so much AK style, as it was a precursor to the AK called 2 digits in the letter? Are there bullets for it in the gun or in the... Oh, yeah, nobody knows if the gun was actually loaded or any of that stuff. We'll find that detail out later about the Trump alleged shooter and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, Richard Fleer, thank you. I really feel bad for the workers who have to clean the nunt off the studio furniture at Fox. I know, it's gross. It is gross. And it doesn't come out. It doesn't come out. It never comes out. They're just going to have to burn the seat. That's all there is to it. And the suit. That's why he always has a new red tie on, because the stains don't come out.